Good evening and welcome back to another episode of Smoke and Mirrors, presented by the Sports Tidlets. I'm your host, Stephen Polius, alongside Declan Krogman and Greg Polius. And it's officially November. Can you believe that shit?
That's wild, bro.
It
That's
is November
wild.
1st. Tomorrow's election
Doesn't
day.
make sense.
All right. So you guys make sure you go out there and vote. But yeah, it is November 1st. And it happened way too fast. It was a fun weekend, though, at least for some of us. Deck, how are you doing? I'm happy to see you're a person on a Monday after what could have been a very fun weekend for you.
Yeah, it could have been a very fun and potentially disastrous, but no, it was a great weekend. I had a blast. Halloween with the boys and our whole group really is awesome. So that was fun. And yeah, I mean, how was everyone else's weekend? I mean, it was a great weekend of football. Actually, honestly, it was a terrible weekend for me because I mean the NFL was all over the place.
True. No, it was. I would say my Sunday, my weekend was good. I was out till like 6 o'clock on Saturday, and I had my party on Sunday. I have not done that in a while, so it took a little while to bounce back. But the party
Getting
on
old,
Sunday
bro.
was
You
dope.
getting old.
You damn straight, I'm getting old, and I'm not afraid to admit it.
Speaking my language a bit, I like it.
But yeah, no, Saturday was dope. Sunday was really cool. Shout out to all the people that came out and supported into the night at Basquiat's Bottle. Really appreciate it. But yeah, man, it was a dope weekend for me. Greg, what about yourself? How was your weekend, sir? Trick or treating with the kids.
No, that was Leticia. My wife took care of
Gotcha.
that trick or treating with KJ, but Kaylee. So I was on super daddy duty all weekend because Kaylee wasn't feeling well,
Yeah.
and needless to say, she wore me out, man. I'm still
I
feeling
see.
it.
I mean, so you were wearing a costume. You're super dad all the time. Like that's 24/7.
I mean, basically. But as we mentioned football real quick, I just want to say the two times I wore this Jets hoodie and this hat, the Jets actually won. When I wore it on a Friday show, the Jets won on Sunday. Thought that was ironic.
Well,
So
I
are you
think
going to take credit for having the 4th overall draft pick instead of the 2nd or the 1st come April?
I mean, I don't care about that at this point.
well, I think it's great that you bring that up because I wanted to start with the Jets and the anomaly that is Mike White, otherwise known as Mike Jones.
Mike Jones. Oh,
Mike
well, you
Jones.
gotta.
Nah,
give
Jack
him a
already
little
know what time it
background.
is. They don't need no background. Come on,
Right.
It's an inside joke, baby. That's what it is. It's Mike Jones, baby. You see how he plays? Deck was up on game, but I mean, the kid looked good. He looked more like a 2nd overall pick than Zach Wilson has. I mean, he's looked better than any rookie thus far in his class, and the line is ridiculous, right? 37 of 45 for 405 yards, 3 TDs and 2 picks. First Jets quarterback to do that since 98, I believe. Was it Vinny
You know what I was-
Testaverde?
Bro, you know what I was doing in '98? I was in 6th grade.
That's wild to think because everybody knows you as an old man.
It's
This
a hard
is
knock
6th
life.
grade Greg potentially saw the last time the Jets had a quarterback throw for over 400 yards. That's a long time. Look how old that man looks. That's a long time. All right.
Don't do me like that. It's too early. How do you
Pre-beard.
start like this?
Pre-beard Greg.
Definitely, bro. But nah, so like that's a crazy stat. But the kid did that and they scored on the first drive, which they haven't done all season with Zach Wilson. They haven't done in a very
Insane.
long time.
That is probably one of the worst stats I've ever
First
seen.
Drive. Ugly. They won the game 34-31, right? They're going against a Bengals team that first in their division. They're not a bad team. They're a good team this year. It's not like they beat up on a weak team. The secondary is one thing I'll say that I already mentioned that they're good. They first team to really shut down Jamar Chase. I'm just saying it right now. We could talk about it. We're going to talk about it, but they have that for the rest of the season because that man has been playing out of this world and he had a quiet game for what else, everything he's done this season, but he played the boring kind of basic football that we just haven't seen from Zach Wilson. I almost want to call him Kyle Wilson sometimes because, just mediocre, but
I wasn't even mediocre. He was just bad.
I don't know, man. He trained with Darrell Revis and that was
Yeah,
like,
when has
supposed to
he
be a big
been
deal.
mediocre this year? One game?
Oh, you're talking about Zach?
No, he's talking about Kyle Wilson, our cornerback. Pick.
Yeah, that's my Kyle.
Deck might have not even been alive for that pick.
Damn, baby. We keep talking about the old, talking about the young. But Deck, I'm gonna start with you.
Oh no, I got that. I got the reference. My internet's unstable. That's all it was. I got the reference.
My internet's unstable. So we saw this great game from Mike White, and there are a lot of questions around that. Do you believe that this is real, or is this just fool's gold? And I do have a follow-up for you. What happens if this continues at this pace, something similar, when Zach Wilson's healthy?
Yeah, I mean, Robert Saleh said it best. Anything's possible. So anything is possible. If he keeps balling out, we could be looking at Zach Wilson as labeled as a bust already. However, I'm not going to completely, press that button right away because there's a decent – I don't want to say decent, but there's always the chance out there that he comes out and throws 98 yards and 2 picks next week. So there's always the night and day with those, volatile backup quarterbacks. So, hey, I hope he does well. I'd love to see him outplay Zach Wilson and win that job. But
I'm sorry. I'm going to interrupt you just briefly because your mother's in the comments just crushing it. She was like, you weren't even a suggestion in 98.
Oh, yeah. So that's my cousin Rob saying, what was I doing?
Shout out to Mama Krogman. You guys are in there. Oh, what did Robert say? I love it. I love the back and forth. I'm sorry, Deck. I just had to acknowledge it because
no, I'm glad it was acknowledged. I was.
But
no
continue,
emojis
please.
either, so there's no jokes in here.
Continue, sir. Mike White,
that's really it. I mean, it's way too early to tell, but it was a nice performance, and I was happy to see it yesterday. And
so you're not willing to commit if it's good, if it's the real thing.
No,
or if
I'm not willing to commit if it's the real thing after 4 quarters. Are you kidding me? I'm laughing at Pete right now. I know Greg is typing away in the chat saying Pete said LMFAO only the Jets would replace the first round draft pick with a backup quarterback. Hey, watch your ass with Cooper Rush. That could be your franchise very soon. Be careful.
Oh, you're just trying to trigger Pete now at this point.
There's no validity in that claim. That was a
Greg, I got the same question for you then, though. I want to know, do you think it's real? Do you think it's fake? And if he continues to play well while Zach Wilson's out, do you think that they still roll with him? And is that a good decision if they do?
So, one, it's a great decision because have you seen Zach Wilson? Also, shout out to John Wayne in the group. So he posed a question. He said, they've watched this guy run the scout team all year, and they've deduced that Zach Wilson somehow is the better option at quarterback. I think, and it's clear that he's not, because the Bengals are a playoff team. Like yes. There's a playoff team with a playoff defense, right? And they were I think they were top 5 or top 7 against the run, and that didn't matter for a team that would a Jets team that couldn't run a football all season. For some of you that aren't Jet fans that may not know, Matt LaFleur decided he was going to call the game from the booth. I'm guessing that had an effect in a positive sense because he could see the field a little better. So maybe he could, call better plays, but whatever it is, he needs to keep doing it. And here's why I think it's a good idea. Yes, Zach Wilson was your number 2 pick. That's all fine and good. Mm-hmm. But if you want to have any type of success or kind of keep your fan base, and Mike White produces, I don't think he's got to throw for another Mike Jones. I don't think he's going to throw for another 400 yards. But if he continues to move the football and, like Rob Saleh says, play boring football and take what the defense gives him, you got to keep running him out there. Not looking for the home run play all the time. That was
y'all saw that too, right? I'm not bugging. Like I was focused on your square, and I'm like, what the hell is flying in the back?
KJ's out there bugging out. I don't know what he's doing, but I know he hears me. So whatever you're doing, stop making things fly in the back of my head, please. Thank you.
Yeah, he's just worried about a potential Deshaun Watson trade to the Dolphins before tomorrow.
No,
just pacing back and forth.
I told him that I didn't get to tell him and make fun of him that the Dolphins stunk it up on Sunday and that the Jets actually won. So we're gonna get to that.
Yeah, I already know that.
Oh, he's in the background from off the top rope.
I know the Jets won 3.
Oh, that means your grandfather gave it to you, gave you the business.
I saw. Jet, blah, blah, blah.
I love the trolling tone
I know
that he's going with.
I think he knows how much that one win meant to Greg. He knew.
Oh man, I didn't sign up for this, but I'm loving it still. You still want to talk, Greg? Or you can let KJ take the mic and call it.
Also, the last thing, and why I say it's the right decision to continue going with Mike White, because it helps the development of all the younger players around. Look at what Michael Carter did. He all of a sudden became fantasy relevant after 8 weeks. You know,
did. I will say this though: you made a mention of the move of LaFleur to the booth, you know, so he had a better line of sight, whatever it might have been. You're suggesting that you think, could that not just be the case that if he's now in the booth and he has a better line of sight, he's calling better plays, that Zach Wilson could potentially benefit from it as well?
That's very possible. But also, since Zach Wilson's used to playing Blue Mountain State, you know, he's still you see the Darren Headlights looks. He gives me Meadowlands Sam vibes. Shout out to
Meadowlands Sam.
It's a good name. It's a really good name.
It's a really good name.
Like, but I picture like Frank Gallagher from Shameless when I think of Meadowlands Sam.
He constantly feels like he has to make the big play.
Yes.
And that is one of his biggest knocks. Yeah, the reason the Jets drafted him is the reason that he might not start. Go figure.
I mean, part of that might, the trying to make the big play might have something to do with being down 30 points.
But even if you're down 30, look, Mike White threw back-to-back interceptions while they weren't his fault.
He was really good.
He didn't change what the game plan was. He stuck with the game plan, and look what happened. It worked.
Being down, you're not down 30 points in your first drive. That's the other thing, too. He has struggled to move the football. He has not moved the chain. So
he's been awful in the first quarter.
With Zach Wilson, they haven't scored a point in the first quarter. That's never scored a point in the first quarter. Mike White went out and shattered every good possible record. I mean, he was really good. 8 incompletions when you go 45 passes. That's nothing to really beat down and kind of take away its significance.
And Steph, you touched on it a bit about Jets quarterbacks since 98. It's not only just since 98. There's been a merry-go-round of mediocrity at the Jets quarterback position. So watching a Jets quarterback actually go out there and execute a game plan is a big deal.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
Coupled with the offensive coordinator not calling, a basic, Brian Schottenheimer like game plan.
Oh my God, Shotty's still in the league. I want to move on a little bit, but I do want to address Anthony Price in the chat. Shout out to you, Anthony. He said that it would be stupid for the Jets to trade their second pick away, build around Wilson, keep him. Did anyone here said trade him? No. I didn't see it in the chat. Did anyone else see it, trade in the chat? Yeah, Anthony, we're not saying to trade him by no means, but Greg is ready to start Mike White. Mike Jones is Greg's quarterback right now.
That's right now. Until Zach Wilson shows me he could be better against the scout team in practice, I get it. He's a second pick, but this may actually help his career.
It's possible. If this team actually does develop, you bring up a good point if that can happen. But
well, let's move on to another game that was. Well, this game wasn't. Well, I should say this: the Jets game wasn't lopsided. It was a good game. This next game was lopsided as hell. Eagles versus the Lions, and that 44 bomb they dropped on their heads. And the Lions haven't been bad this season. They've lost 2 games by a field goal.
No. They've been bad.
The Lions have not been as bad as the record, I would say, shows. They could have pulled out.
Let me rephrase.
Have 2 or 3 wins.
Let me rephrase.
Yes,
Jared Goff has been as bad as the record shows. Shout out to Jared Carter.
But I mean, here's my thing, right? You have a Eagles team that their quarterback has struggled. They had no idea what to do with Miles Sanders. He gets hurt. You activate Jordan Howard, former standout for the Chicago Bears. He gets off the practice squad. He comes in
on former.
Yeah. But then you have Gainwell and Scott that you're expecting to go off. And Jordan Howard somehow ends up with 12 carries. What was it? 657 yards, 2 TDs.
Yeah, I mean, they got Scott. They got Scott also.
Scott also had 2 touchdowns. They ran the ball 44 times, and they dropped back between Minshew, who got 2 completions, and Hurts. They only had 16 dropbacks. Like that. That is surprising. I was not expecting that game plan. And the Lions are bad. Yes, I do know that. But Greg, I'm going to start with you on this one. What do you make of this game plan for the Lions? I'm sorry, for the Eagles. You think it's something that can work for them going forward? Because yes, it's a bad Lions team, but being more run heavy than relying on Hurts.
I think if they were more 60-40 against a better team, it'll play better. But you're gonna have to throw the ball to win in this league. The Lions at this point, that was like a college game plan. It's like I was watching Oklahoma State or something like that back in the day.
Mm-hmm. A little too generous, if you ask me. But go ahead.
But that game plan is not something I can see working going forward against legitimate NFL competition.
Yeah. I can feel that. Doug, what about you? What are you feeling for this game? And ultimately, Sirani, and just like how he's approaching trying to get wins. I mean, he put up 44.
Yeah. I mean, really just this Lions team. And this was the first time I ever picked them so far. I usually let other people, kind of do that. But terrible, horrible. Last time I picked them, honestly. I can't pick them again. I thought this was a decent matchup for them. I really did think that the Lions team had showed some fight against better teams, similar to what the Seahawks have done with Geno Smith, except somehow a team with Geno Smith is significantly better than another football team in the National Football League, and that's the Detroit Lions. The Lions were an absolute mess. No kneecaps have been bitten off. I mean, only the grit and the heart and soul of that team has been completely stripped away from them. They went from competing with a lot of their matchups, even Aaron Rodgers and the Packers they competed with, to now just failing to compete with a young head coach that shouldn't even be in the job, shouldn't even be a coordinator, and a quarterback who is, as well as I think he could be and could perform on a team with nothing. And when he could be sitting back and developing a little more, that's where he should be. This team should not be dropping 40+ on anybody, and the Lions should not be able to score less than double digits against the Philadelphia Eagles defense, who has not been good all year, just like the rest of the team. So that was my least favorite matchup.
Honestly, I'm just waiting for Jared Goff to get benched. It's coming.
I was actually about to ask that question. What week do you think it's coming?
Undrafted quarterback season is in full effect. Cooper Rush, Mike White, let's go. David Blau made his debut Thanksgiving 2019. I want to see it again.
So I called for it last week.
Oh, yes.
And I'm going to call for it every week until it happens. Because
I mean, they got the Steelers, they got the Browns, got the Bears, they got Vikings, Broncos, Cardinals.
I could see a 0-17 thing going on here.
I think they'll win one or two games, but this might sound
against who?
You taking the Browns? You taking the Browns, Greg?
Yeah, I'm taking the Browns.
He'll take the Browns on that one.
I'm taking the Browns only because the lines are inept. Like Jared Goff threw away a ball on 4th and 11.
He's done that twice this year, by the way. He's thrown it out of bounds. By the way, for the folks at home, that's like throwing it out of bounds. Flick the R stick in Madden, and you're giving yourself no hope. It's essentially
good reference, because that used to get me tight if I did that by mistake. But
I know.
Khalif Raymond. So one, the pocket didn't collapse. He walked into the rush. He scrambled into the rush, then evaded the rush. Khalif Raymond was wide open down the field, and he threw it away. This is why Sean McVay wanted him out of LA, because of things
Sean
like
McVay,
this.
He saw the writing on the wall. He understood the assignment.
Everybody saw the writing on the wall except Jared Carter.
Yeah, and Jared Goff, really, honestly, because he seems very upset about this. And guys, I don't want to be mean. I feel like this is a little mean, but I'm going to say it anyway. When did Jared Goff become Josh Rosen? Serious question. Like when did Jared Goff become Josh Rosen?
Josh Rosen's ears just perked up.
Exactly.
Someone's talking about me?
I'll tell you when.
I know.
When he didn't have a defense and a running game to carry him, when he had to be the concrete of the foundation of an offense. Yeah. He can't do it.
Yeah.
Just not that guy.
It really isn't. I mean, it's just unbelievable.
Say it again.
Oh, right. I forgot. Greg is now making TikToks. That's going to be a new thing now. So get ready for that one. He's already
at Thunder NYC.
Yeah, NYC Thunder is
going
to make TikToks with Fireman Ed on Sundays after a well-deserved Jets win. But jeez,
this next team here I want to cover, this next game, Greg. I want you to not to apologize, but I just want it to be known that your hot-headedness is the reason why the Colts lost in OT. 100%. Your hot-headedness.
Hold on.
Is the reason.
Thank you for stealing a game. By the way.
And that game was a toss-up. Like we said, Carson Wentz is the reason the Colts lost in OT. Let's be for real here.
No. It was what you put on the air. He said, give me the Colts. And Deck was like, thank you. Moment.
I'm happy.
That moment.
For the record, I am happy the way that turned out because I picked the Titans and I'll pick them.
Talk a lot of mess online on the live, but you a different person on the pick 'em. Got you, heard you. Both sides fought well, and it was a good game. But really, the big news here is Derrick Henry got hurt. He injured his foot. He's out for 6 to 10 weeks. This is a man that was invincible. You wouldn't expect an injury to happen to him. He just mauls over dudes and stiff arms everybody and finds his way in the end zone some way, somehow. We have, with that injury, almost immediately, the Titans went and got Adrian Peterson. And they need all the help they can get. I will say this, though. What's the backup's name?
McNichols. Jeremy McNichols.
I think Jeremy McNichols is just for fantasy purposes. I'm looking for him everywhere. I pick him up in a heartbeat. In the times that he has played, he's decent enough. I think they're gonna still run the ball. It's not like they're gonna go away from the run and expect to have Ryan Tannehill drop back more. But that injury to me is devastating. And even though they won, Deck, I'll start with you. What do you think this means for the Titans in the division? Does this give another? It's a bad division, but does this give another team a chance to sneak in now?
Yeah, so I think this is a game where if they didn't win this game, we could be looking at, okay, this is what's going to happen now with Derrick Henry being out. The Colts are going to run away with this division. If the Colts wanted any shot at the division yesterday, they needed to win. And that was said, and that was kind of the premise of really what led to that environment of the game, really, of how tight it was and how hard they played. But now the Colts kind of dealt a second life with the loss of Derrick Henry for the Titans, which is just devastating. I still think the Titans are going to wind up a postseason team and win that AFC South division, as bad as it is, with two of the worst teams, if not the two worst teams in football, sitting there at the bottom. But I just don't think I think the Colts are good, but there's a part of them, the part of me that just thinks they're just not as complete as they should be right now, 1 year removed from a playoffs with a quarterback upgrade. So that's just how I feel about them.
Greg, you on the same page?
Not quite.
You're still gonna take him?
I'm still gonna take him, and here's why: because when you insert McNichols, obviously he's not Derrick Henry, but he adds another dynamic to that offense that we haven't seen, and that's a running back that's a solid pass catcher that can line up, wide, and we haven't really seen Derrick Henry line up wide. So I think with the decline of Julio Jones, adding another pass catcher with AJ Brown is necessary. And I think Ryan Tannehill can do just enough to win football games. Also, but shout out to Derrick Henry for playing essentially on a Brook foot and carrying a rock almost 30 times.
Up. 28, 26?
28 carries.
I got a crazy question now that Henry's hurt. Odell could be a potential fit. Could he be a potential fit with the Titans now that they're going to really have to rely heavy?
I don't know if you bring him in with Julio as you're still trying to acclimate Julio for that offense, because clearly there's still some disconnect.
Yeah. You could start to use Odell, like honestly, you could start to use Odell how the Bucs are using Brown, where you line him up in the slot. He's 5'11", he's electric in the slot. That could be a nice career rejuvenation. And then build him back up to the receiver he could be.
I mean, I'm not opposed to it because I want to see Odell thrive, so I'm not opposed to it. But I don't know if Tennessee would want that.
Yeah. Well, I'm just thinking on a basis of bringing him in. They have the two physical receivers outside in Jones and Brown. They're not the exact same receiver, but Julio and A.J. Brown are a similar prototype of that big possession receiver that plays on the outside. They do need a guy in the slot that can move around.
A.J. Brown does a lot of his work in the middle of the field.
He does a lot of his work in the middle of the field, but he lines up on the outside in the X and the Z slots very often for a majority of his snap. So I think that if they could bring a guy as versatile as Odell that can line up outside, sure, if they need to, but a guy that can really work the slots. And he was targeted once on Sunday, and the offense put up 10 points. So it's just got to be blown up.
We're going to get to that.
Yeah, Peter's in the chat saying that he thinks that the Titans are going to trade for Melvin Gordon.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, it does sound very believable.
Not bad. I mean, I could see the Broncos yesterday could be done with him after that fumble.
I don't know if they would trade him in the division, but Marlon Mack. Free Marlon Mack.
Ooh, I like that actually.
I don't think so because I listen. It makes sense from a logistical standpoint in terms of players, but listen, who's the biggest rival of the Colts right now? They're not going to do.
I don't know if they'll do it in the division.
If it wasn't within the division, I would 100% think they would have. Yeah,
it's a perfect.
It almost makes sense. Yeah, it makes too much sense. It's a perfect fit,
but they might as well play on the Yankees and Mets. There's just no way that they're going to make that deal.
So I called out Greg for his hot-headedness, the reason the Colts lost. Deck, I will eat crow because on Friday, Greg and I both said
we will eat crow.
You know, you're right. We'll eat crow. Greg and I both said Jags easily. Like Geno's gonna Geno, right? And the Jags. Well, I will say this.
Geno a little bit.
I prefaced it with James Robinson needed to go. Like they needed to lean on him, and he got hurt early. He was averaging about 5 yards a carry though at that point before he got hurt. But with the injury, they didn't have a chance. And you saw Trevor Lawrence regress. You know, he was looking good before the bye week, but Geno Smith came in. He did exactly what he had to do. He played mistake-free football. He threw the ball to his superstars, DK and Tyler Lockett. And they secured an easy win, 31-7. I personally do not believe that Geno can lead this offense. This is just a question of going against a bad defense. But Greg, what are you thinking about this game? Are you a little bit bought on Geno? Did he show you enough to at least be competent and keep this offense going? Give him a chance.
I think he showed enough to keep the seat warm until Russ gets back. I'll say that. But
which is what matters. I mean, that's important.
But I think the biggest thing here is we learned that the Jags offense can't do anything without James Robinson, and I hope Urban Meyer sees that. And this is a coach.
Hyde didn't do anything this game.
This is a coach who doesn't know if his team is buy or sellers at the deadline. I can't with this guy. I'm so tired of him.
He's bad. We were on this in April of how bad this is
absolute joke.
Like, there has been no silver linings at all, and that's why, guys, I'm sorry. James Robinson or no James Robinson, they were not doing anything by making.
I mean, we also hold on. Geno Smith. As much as I want to see Geno, we got to admit that was an anomaly. Geno Smith went 13 for 13, which is something no quarterback in the league has done this season. Mike
White was 10 for 10 yesterday.
Aaron Rodgers, it was 11 for 11. Don't cheat him.
Yeah, there you go. Sorry, I missed the one pass.
But Aaron Rodgers, I think, had the season record so far at 12 for 12. And when you hear Geno Smith does something better than Aaron Rodgers, you're not going to exactly think that's the truth.
Yeah.
Could you imagine seeing this before the season?
Imagine a prop bet. Geno Smith goes 13 for 13.
On the onion. I'm thinking more at Buffett money, honestly.
Ridiculous. But yeah, Deck, you got it, bro. You called it right. I'm sure you picked them and you pick them, so you got another win there. Moving on to another game that I really didn't expect. I want to say this though. Shout out to Rick because he had us in that the bad quarterback.
Bad QB. We need to do that again, guys. Make sure we're gonna push it here and we're gonna push it on Sunday. Bad QB League $5 entry.
Yeah, they got to be the worst. They got to be terrible, right?
Yeah, that's the whole point. No, they have to be the worst.
You know how many people must have got blown up by Mike White and Cooper Rush yesterday? Oh my God. Well, actually, Rush probably didn't get picked because
I don't think he got picked.
Yeah, I mean, hey,
that
sounds like fun.
So in the last tier, the top, whatever the tier number was,
it's tier 6. It's
tier 6. What was it? Tom Brady, Stafford,
Josh Allen.
All the
copy and paste our top 5 list into the.
So for you guys that don't know how the bad QB league works, because I didn't realize this until I signed up, and I'm just like, hold up, this is not easy. You pick like the worst possible QBs for tier 1, and in each tier the QBs start getting better, but you have to pick who's going to perform the worst. So tier 6, you have like MVP candidates, and you got to pick who's going to have the worst performance. It's not easy.
It isn't at all. And I picked Tom Brady. I was like,
so did I because of the same defense.
Yeah, exactly. And this is a really good defense.
I would have picked Dak, but then again, what does that mean? Does that mean it's a wash?
No, yeah, it's a wash because he's not playing.
Yeah, no, it's a wash at that point. But the Bucs managed to lose this game. So it's 36-27. And we saw Trevor Siemian, who I didn't expect him to have a decent game, but he did.
The best looking Trevor out there in a quarterback position on Sunday.
Shots.
But And this is my thing. This defense
It's
is so
Urban
good.
Meyer's fault.
Brady
can't show
finished
tape.
completing 28 of 40 passes for 375 yards and 4 TDs, and they still lost by 2 scores. Like that's impressive. That is, I'm just saying, as far as the defense goes, for them to still pull this game out, because I thought they had a bad stat line. I didn't get to watch the game, but I'm looking back. I'm like, oh, the Bucks lost. Brady didn't do anything.
I'll tell you why. He turned the ball over in key moments. It was very key.
Similar to in that Super Bowl against the Eagles, he got hit at the wrong time and he let the ball go. But it wasn't a 2-score game. I think they lost by 9. But I guess technically
it's 2 scores.
That's 2 scores.
That is 2 scores.
But I was looking at it from like the actual like watching the game perspective. Like that was a 2-point. That was a field goal game. It was the tack on touchdown at the end, sure. But I mean, you can look the Bucks offensive line. Brady didn't move. The offensive line just stood back and let the guy like practically fall out of bounds and do a handstand on the sideline and then run in and then score. I mean, but yeah, it was a closer game than the box score would tell you. But yeah, it was just turning the ball over in key moments. Greg said it best, but a lot of people got that one wrong.
Yeah, I mean, that's just the credit to the Saints D.
I think
they're the engine. I'm just saying the Saints D to me, they're the engine for this team.
Absolutely,
not relying
absolutely.
on
That pass rush and Marshawn Lattimore. Oh, there we go. DJ Steph hitting it back at Basquiat's bottle.
Power 105 over here.
It didn't happen on Friday.
It didn't.
All right,
it didn't.
But I was
definitely what
Lattimore
Basquiat's bottle sounded like at 6 a.m. on Saturday night.
Sunday. It was Sunday.
Oh yes, I was okay. So yeah,
Monday morning.
Last night, right?
Yes, last night. Greg, you were gonna say something before I started scratching?
Yeah. I was gonna say the Saints defense and Marshawn Lattimore essentially like taking the best receiver out of the equation is gonna be their reason for success. And Trevor Siemian, all he has to do is manage the game.
Honestly, though.
Mark Ingram looked good back in the Saints uniform. He ran well, he ran hard. Maybe looked like the half a running back one that Travis claimed he was. But I was gonna shout out, I think it was Travis and Paul Austin. They picked the Saints in the pick 'em. So good on them.
Good on them. Good, definitely good on them.
The only good thing Travis did on Sunday.
The slander never ends. I mean, I kind of want Travis to come back because I think he just needs to defend himself at this point. He's just been taking it on the chin.
He didn't have the worst week this week. I mean,
and you pick him?
We all had.
I didn't win a game in the 4 o'clock
windows.
Like I kept going with upsets because I'm back in the standings, so I got to try to gain games, and it just did not go well.
Wow,
football team let me down. The Jags let me down.
It's poor gambles all around.
Yeah, anyhow, just continue.
The football team will always let you down.
Well, I'm gonna.
At least that was our saying in high school.
I'm gonna actually let you go off a little bit, Greg, because we're gonna talk about the Steelers and the Browns, because that's a game that featured I feel like mediocre probably is too kind of a word that you probably wouldn't agree with in Baker Mayfield at this point, but. I do want to make this a segment, the Greg rant segment, because
we gotta find a better name for that.
We'll come up with a better name, but it's you and your rants are really did it on Friday. I'm going to give you the floor today to talk about Baker because you have some thoughts on him. If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. So those of you guys that have been following the show, I constantly say Baker Mayfield is not that guy, and yet again he proved it on Sunday. And especially in the fourth quarter, I think they were somewhere on the 30-yard line, but they were in plus territory. And I think it was like second or third down. He rolls out to his left. And I can't remember what receiver he had wide open with his hands up like this. And he passed on it and ended up like scrambling out of bounds or something, basically like ruining their chances at moving the ball forward. Now, fans, I have a question. Some of you may get upset at me. Some of you may not. But we have to ask, is Baker Mayfield a benefactor of white privilege? And here's why. Okay? What number 1 pick, surrounded by this much talent, has this many opportunities and this many excuses? Outside of his rookie year when he came in and performed well. He performed well his rookie year. But there was no tape on him. He broke the touchdown. He had 27 TDs his rookie year. There was no tape on him, though. Now that there's tape on him, how does he keep getting away with this? We're gonna reference Meadowlands Sam again. He's the Midwestern version at this point. He does not push the ball through the air. Like, let's think of the talent he has around him. You have former All Pros. You have probably the best. You have the best running game in the league. Yeah. Any other number one pick that performed this poorly is getting killed, and they're looking at losing their job. And for comparison's sake, what has Baker done as a passer in this league that Jameis Winston hasn't?
Well, I mean, Baker Mayfield did take them to the playoffs without Odell.
No. The defense and the running game took them to the playoffs.
He had a good statistical season with 26 touchdowns. I mean, listen, I agree.
But he didn't even. I agree that he's not all that. 4,000 yards.
I agree. Well, he never threw 30 picks either. So I mean,
and I know that's what people are gonna say. Jameis threw the 30 picks.
Yeah, the turnovers.
Okay? The turnovers.
With Baker, with a lot of talent, also. I mean, virtually almost the same team.
No. Jameis Winston has never had the talent.
You had Mike Evans, but it wasn't Godwin wasn't the player. Chris Godwin wasn't that type of player yet. He didn't go off like that.
They were debating if Brady was going to wear a different number. I mean, so there was that.
That's because it was his number. That
it wasn't because he was number 2 receiver.
No, Chris Godwin was good in 2019. He was good in 2018 also.
But he wasn't what he is now.
He wasn't a stud. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying he wasn't.
He wasn't what he is when Tom Brady became his quarterback. Sure.
But what I'm saying is, there's no question that Baker has been surrounded by more talent than Jameis was while he was in Tampa. Jameis led the league in passing yards, led the league in TDs. Yes, he led the league in picks because Jameis has the ability to throw the ball down the field more, and he takes more chances. We see that he's more refined now within the Sean Payton offense, but Jameis had to sit a year before he even got a chance to start again. Meanwhile, even when he had that less talent, he put up more yards, he put up more TDs. So we really had, but it's all in how they're viewed. Jameis Winston was viewed as a bust. Why isn't Baker viewed the same way? These are questions we have to start asking ourselves.
Do you agree with that, Deck? I want to get your thoughts. I know you've been responding here and there.
Real quick. And Ziggy, I've been calling him mediocre since week 1. Continue.
Yes. As far as the bust, the kind of like the way that we treat Baker, do you think it's kid gloves and that there is white privilege that has benefited Baker as far as how we talk about him, given all that we know?
No, I don't think that's completely fair. And here's why. Keep in mind, he inherited a team that went 0-16, one of the worst teams of all time. Hugh Jackson was 1-31 as a coach when he took over with Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield gets the starting job. That team in 2018 was not good. We all saw it on Hard Knocks how bad they were. Tyrod Taylor was a starting quarterback. It took for them to play the Jets on Thursday Night Football to win their first game in like 600 days. That's the team he inherited. He had to deal with 3 head coaches, 3 offenses in 3 years, which is practically unheard of for a rookie quarterback. So now he's dealing with fired head coaches. Greg Williams wound up being the coach. I don't even got to tell you what happened to Freddie Kitchens. I mean, if you think Adam Gase's downfall is bad, Freddie Kitchens was a tight ends coach for the Giants. Jason Garrett's the offensive coordinator, calling plays ahead of him. So that's just how bad Freddie Kitchens was. That whole team as a whole never gelled with Odell. As much as I love Odell, Baker was better without him, not because of Baker or Odell, just because of the system they were running with the running backs, the 2-headed monster, and how receivers like Peoples-Jones and Landry and all those guys, they work with the tight end with Njoku and Hooper. How that offense was ran doesn't to me put that on Baker and Odell. But that's another besides the point, because right now that essentially proved itself that it didn't work. So do I think that Baker is overrated? Sure. But do I think that people are coming down on him the way that they should be right now? Yes, absolutely. So I don't think it's white privilege necessarily. I think it's the Cleveland Browns finally finding a good quarterback for the first time in 20 years, or at least their undisputed best one in the past 2-3 decades, that now they're going to really try to stick it out and not want to get rid of him so early. And they did just go to the playoffs last season. Defense or not, he improved a lot from year 2 to year 3.
Yes. And I want to say this, though. You're speaking to like how the Cleveland Browns should operate with Baker, but what Greg is kind of talking about is the fans, right? And the media and how he's covered. Like it, and you're kind of saying it to I feel like a certain degree that yes, in his rookie season, he was great and we saw some improvements, but even the chemistry with Odell, Baker has, and we've seen it this year, he's just missed passes. He is not. He is when we have wide open receivers. When a
He
quarterback
he hasn't really even looked his way.
and the times he has though, because there've been wide open Odell. Like we've seen some of these shots where Odell is ready to hit. Like this is a touchdown pass. This is easy. When you were talking about Daniel Jones and Slayton and how when you're that wide open you can't miss, and Baker's missing by a mile.
Listen,
I just
no doubt.
I don't think I'm just saying I don't think the chorus of people saying that like Baker, man, he's bad or that he's not living up to expectation. I don't know if it is there.
I just want to say, it wasn't by accident that I used Jameis as a comp, and you kind of played right into my point. You talked up, you essentially, in my eyes, you made excuses for Baker, which further proves my point. You talked about
I didn't make excuses.
You did. You talked about the three coaches.
I just mentioned what he had to go through.
But again, Jameis, when he came into the league, Lovie Smith was the coach. Then it was Dirk Koetter. Who's that? Jameis had 3 coaches in 4 years. So he went through the same thing, and yet he still performed better than what Baker performed.
I would not say he performed better.
In terms of if we're talking talent, with talent and without talent, and we're going. I'm not talking statistically, like as far as like I'm talking at the position. You know, arm talent. You know, moving the ball down the field. Can you count on Baker to win you a game down the field more so than Jameis with their arm, with his arm? The truth
is that Jameis is more of a quarterback. Listen, I picked Jameis to win comeback player of the year. That's looking terrible, obviously, now that he went down, but he was good before that.
Again, this goes back to my point. I brought up everything I said about Jameis and Baker, and the first thing you did was, well, look what Baker had to deal with. Look at this and look at this.
Well, Jameis also got 5 years in Tampa. So let's let Baker get 5 years in Cleveland, and we'll see.
No, but here's the thing. Even though James got 5 years, he was killed in the media. He was a bust. You know, go get your crab legs. Blah blah. Like he was absolutely destroyed.
That
nationwide, nationwide. It wasn't
totally.
just in Tampa.
He was hated.
Baker does not get that treatment.
That's not true. Baker Mayfield was hated. He was an arrogant, cocky, like D-bag in college.
If we're doing the comp, it's not close.
I think
nobody's calling for Baker's job.
Year two,
that's
I think
is not true. People are saying Case Keenum played better in one game. But if you look at Winston's numbers throughout those 5 years, 22 touchdowns his rookie year. Obviously, Baker did shatter that. But if you look at the turnover numbers and the touchdown numbers, he threw 19 touchdowns in 2017 and 2018. He didn't throw 3,000 yards. Ryan Fitzpatrick took his job because he played better than him. And then he had the year in 2019 where he showed he can move the ball down the field, but he threw 30 picks. It took Sean Payton's offense, and Sean Payton and him are a perfect fit. Absolutely. You guys know how I feel about that. But to say that, you know, Jameis Winston got the 5 years, Baker Mayfield has played very similar to Jameis Winston to earn those 5 years.
And that's part of my point.
I think I hear what you're saying, Greg. No, I do agree with Greg. As I'm listening to your argument, because I didn't really have an opinion on this until Greg brought it up. But if we're saying that the numbers are similar, when we hear the criticism from the media, it's not the same. It really isn't. And I would say the chorus for Baker Mayfield being bad was its loudest in year 2 because the expectations were really high after year 1, and he wasn't near the expectations, and he did get killed, but it's just not to the same degree. And so, Greg, when you say has white privilege protected Baker Mayfield, I think the answer could be yes. I'm not 100% sold saying yeah, like right now. I'd have to look a little bit deeper into it, but that's
why I posed it as a question. I wasn't a definitive.
Yeah, no. I think it is a really interesting question in that way, though, because we don't get into, like, we talk about narratives, but when we talk like black and white and like how the media can skew or look at the or rather they change their wording for certain players, the color when it's the difference in color of skin,
especially at that position. Given the history
especially at that position, you will see that the media tends to go after or be harsher on some of these quarterbacks. Lamar Jackson being another
totally. One. That's a fact. That's a fact that we all know about.
Yeah,
I mean,
I
totally agree.
Yeah, and my thing is, I don't think Greg is off in saying that white privilege could be at play, because this is a media that already caters to white athletes, specifically white quarterbacks. And when we say that the quarterbacks have very similar numbers, yet how we speak about them is drastically different, it means something. And I think that there's enough there that we could say, at least, let me think about it. I think that he's right, though. I think that white privilege has played a part. And that, I mean, that's for not just Baker, there are other quarterbacks that obviously get the same kind of passes, but that's a good comp, I say, Greg. So I think that was a pretty good question. But Dak, I do like the on the spot stats you ready to pull up. I mean, kid was ready. I thought your Wi-Fi was unstable, but
it was. No, it was. I was getting the. That's why it's unstable.
I thought it was a good discussion to bring up.
It was definitely a good discussion. The only thing I will say about Baker is that I know the defense was good last year. They did give up 500 yards in the postseason. The Big Ben, they won 48-37, and Baker didn't turn the ball over once in that high-scoring affair. I think that's worth mentioning. He had eight picks last year, 26 touchdowns. Listen, it is a great point because neither one of them really, lit up the league. Yeah. They had their moments where they did perform well. Yeah,
definitely. They had moments.
It's a very fair question because I do think that Baker Mayfield doesn't. I mean, there have been Ray Jarvis is right in the comments. People have been coming for him since day one because of his persona. But as far as him being protected by white privilege, I mean, hey, it's up in the air. It's a fair question.
You made Ray Jarvis's comment sound like it was like kind of nice, but he actually said it's actual horseshit, Greg. Like he doesn't agree at all.
because of course I knew he wouldn't agree, and I told him to tune in because I knew he wouldn't agree. He's a Baker guy. He's not diehard Baker Mayfield, but he's a big fan of Baker Mayfield, and I'm not.
well, Jarv, I don't know if he really had it out, but he said he was. He's not here for the Baker slander, but I think Jarv should have stayed for the conversation because I think it could be entertained at the very least.
It was a good one. Yeah. Now I swear to God, guys, if Daniel Jones is trotting on this field and we're still on, heads are gonna roll. Right? 8:15.
It's his team. We got to be respectful. And I was about to move on. Actually, that took up more time than I was expecting. Okay, I think we have to talk about this because if we don't, then it's just not doing the Sunday justice. And that's going to be the Patriots and the Chargers. All right. Now, Greg, you and I were speaking a little bit about this. Yes, the game was a rough game for the Chargers, right? For Herbert specifically. You were saying that you're questioning if Herbert is like can still like play to the level, right? Like it's not
No, that's not what I was saying.
Oh, well, I'm sorry.
I was just saying he's in a bad rut that he has to get out of.
I see, in a rut. Okay, I'm sorry, I misquoted you. Yeah, but and the way I looked at it was, that's a Bill Belichick defense, right? Like I just think that Bill Belichick has his number, and yes, he had a better game than he did last year because he knows a little bit better. But that is a tough D to go against, specifically for Herbert at this point. But Dick, I'll let you speak on this game a little bit. What did you make of it? And are you leaning the same way I am, that it's just a simple Bill Belichick defense that knows what the hell to do against quarterbacks in general?
Yeah, I mean the trend continued. This time it was a one possession game, but Justin Herbert didn't play his best game. Obviously, he's in a rut. This happens to good QBs. I mean, we saw Brady throw a pick six. These things happen. I think it's just one of those things where the Pats were prepared. And, Mac Jones didn't get Brandon Staley like I said he would. And Herbert threw the late pick. And you see those young quarterbacks. It's a fine line between driving your team down the field and really getting through the pressure and getting that win. Or as, you see that common pick. We even see it. I'm not going to reference Brady, but we see it with quarterbacks of all ages, especially the young ones are very susceptible to that late turnover in the game on that last drive. And, Herbert
make something happen.
Bill Belichick.
Yeah. No, I feel that. Greg, I don't know if you have anything to say. I'm going to keep it moving if you don't.
No. I mean, I think the Patriots might find themselves in the playoffs if they keep winning games like this.
Wow.
Is the AFC that bad that, oh my God.
It's top heavy.
They are. It's totally top heavy.
It's top heavy.
And some of the top guns have kind of
that's why I say if they keep winning games like this, they could sneak in on a day one. But that's all I have to say.
Let's look at the standings. No, I think that's a valid take. 4-4, right behind the Bills there.
That would be a huge. That would be.
Chuck said Jets 2 games out. Talk soon.
Hey, listen, if Mike White keeps playing like the undrafted unsung hero, you guys could be finding yourselves selling out MetLife in January.
Can you imagine?
Mac Jones.
No, I can't imagine. I'm sorry, but otherwise.
Anyway, let's move
all right.
on.
Yeah, let's move on.
We can't. Yeah.
before we get into Monday Night Football, I want to get back to our reoccurring segment of the top 5 QBs.
Yes.
Oh,
real quick. Shout out to Peter's Cowboys. I'm not gonna. Their defense is legit. I think they're legitimate contenders. We have to take them as that, especially considering that they beat the Vikings on Sunday Night Football yesterday. When that was a game that the Vikings absolutely should have won going away, and they didn't. So shout out to the Cowboys defense.
Peter must have been begging for that in the chat.
He was.
He really helped him.
Yeah, he was all caps.
He was
getting a little. Well, I would say borderline alarming is where we were starting to go. We were like, we got to talk.
Got you,
about
Pete.
It.
Got you. We did. We got to mention it.
Big win. They need Dak healthy though. I mean, this is something that you don't want to see him out. You don't want it to be a recurring thing where he's missing games yearly. Because listen, as a Giants fan, I took advantage of it with Eli. But I mean, these QBs have been really, really going down in recent years. So,
Deck, top 5 quarterbacks.
Yes,
Make
sir.
it quick. Make it quick. So
you want to see the game? He's gonna do it.
I know. Are you kidding me? This will be lightning round. I mean, just as fast as possible. So we have a couple changes to the list. At number 5 is Kyler Murray. He dropped down from 3 to 5 last week. Listen, aside from that pick, I know that was on AJ Green, and the other pick was on him too. No touchdowns. Wasn't necessarily able to move the ball as well as Rodgers was, and Rodgers wasn't doing it as well as he should have been either.
Yeah,
for the season he's had. So I'm bumping down Kyler to 5 for that reason. Now, making his debut on the list, I said it would happen sooner rather than later. It probably should have happened last week, to be honest. It's Aaron Rodgers.
The 182 yards?
Well, yeah, no. I mean, listen.
Yeah,
listen, clean game of football, 2 touchdowns, no turnovers. You look at his numbers, it's top 5 numbers, and that team's got 1 loss and is one of the best teams in football right now, looking to really solidify this last dance talk now that he's throwing touchdowns without Devontae Adams, no less, and hitting all his guys. So that's why he's on my list, really. I called this coming. It should have happened last week, honestly, but he's on it this week, and that's all that matters. Coming in at 3 is Greg's I almost want to call him Greg's protege because it seemed like he groomed him for this to happen. But Matthew Stafford is in my top 3 in 2021 on the Los Angeles Rams. Say that to somebody 2 years ago or even last year at this time. They'll think you're nuts, except Greg Polius. So he's at number 3. At number 2, come on now, my boy, Josh Allen. We're out up here in this weather. It's starting to turn, and you know what? So is Josh Allen and this Bills team, looking to really make sure that they can become one of the best teams in football and really be Super Bowl contenders. Allen has the best MVP odds right now, according to Vegas Sportsbook, and the Bills are a top contender to win the Super Bowl, and they've been playing just like that. It was a tough first half. They finally got it together, and now this Bills offense is going to look to skyrocket and really tailpipe and chase that for the next couple of games. Coming in at number 1, despite a tough loss and a tough pick 6, is Tom Brady. Right now where he's at, he just added another 4 touchdowns. He's got 25 touchdowns throughout halfway through the season. He's looking to match his 2007 record of 50 scores. Maybe he can get Peyton's 55. Listen, never say never with this guy. He's nuts. He had a bad game. He'll be back. He's got a bye week on top of this to stew around it with Giselle and really sit and bask in this loss. And he's going to come back, and the Washington football team, who don't even have a name, are going to feel like they don't even have a soul because they are going to absolutely rue the day.
Identity right now.
Their spirit will be taken from them. And then my poor Giants have to play them on national.
You're real aggressive.
I know. We're bringing it.
Spirits will be taken from their bodies.
I know. Yeah, seriously. That's like Adam Driver on SNL vibes right there, screaming his head off. But Brady is definitely that guy, pal.
Solid.
So yeah, there you go. Just for Greg now that he's on TikTok. That's my top 5. And honorable mention, Burrow gets knocked down, but honorable mention to Herbert, Burrow, and Dak, who are right on the outside looking in, and Lamar as well.
Greg,
so
top 5.
My top 5, I'm gonna go with. I was going back and forth with this about a number 5, but I'm gonna stick with Kyler at 5. I'm gonna go. It was who did I have? I didn't have because Dak didn't play, so obviously he gets knocked down a peg, and then Aaron Rodgers at 4.
Rodgers at 4.
I'm sorry, no, only because he beat. Yeah. Even though they both played poorly, but
he got the edge. You have him on the list.
Yeah, he was outside. I gave him honorable mention last week because remember this is week to week.
Who did you put at 5?
Kyler.
You did put Kyler. Okay, so we have the same spot. That's
Aaron Rodgers.
Okay. Yeah.
At 3, I got Josh Allen. At 2, I have Tom Brady. And at number 1,
You're
got
not
my
doing
boy
this.
Matthew
You're not-
Stafford.
Absurd.
And I'm gonna tell you why.
This is absurd.
I'm gonna tell you why I have Matthew Stafford at number 1 for this week. Remember, this is week to week.
Yeah.
Matthew Stafford is in control of the best offense in the NFL. And Darrell Henderson, who was a middling back, is a top 5 rusher in the NFL because of Matthew Stafford's ability to take the top off of defense.
I mean, I don't think you're wrong. I don't think you're wrong in what you said, but
that is my change
over Brady. I mean,
so 1 week against
I
the
hate
Texans, 1 week against the Davis Mills led Texans.
But he did what he was supposed to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
and wait. And the other reason is, let me just fit this tidbit in real quick. Cooper Kupp is on a Calvin Johnson pace to have almost 2,000 yards receiving and 20 touchdowns.
I thought they said Calvin Johnson carried Stafford. What's up with that?
That is something in the 5 years or whatever
Stafford
that Jared Goff was in LA.
Wow.
You would never even if somebody told you that I could see Cooper Kupp having a Megatron type season, you'll be laughed out of wherever you are.
Yeah.
And that is because of Matthew Stafford. So
also, I just want to put out there, we didn't mention it, but you guys out there probably already know that the Rams made a big trade with Denver. They acquired none other than Von Miller for a second and third round pick for 2022, which if you're anyone that's a Rams fan, you're probably ecstatic. You're elated. You are like, yes, we are doing it. We're all in. But then there are some Rams fans, which, Greg knows personally. And that's Jared Carter, who just is upset that they spent draft capital on getting an edge rusher that can make a difference on their team. Another edge rusher that an offensive line has to worry about.
Opposing quarterbacks are checking their schedules because it's going to be a Myles Garrett level graveyard with the quarterback's name on it. That's what SoFi Stadium is going to turn into with this new addition. Pairing up with Aaron Donald.
And here's the thing, because I saw a lot of people saying, "Oh, well, he has bad knees. Von Miller's done." Von Miller never had the chance to play alongside of Aaron Donald. He's not going to get
he's not the captain of the defense anymore.
Yeah, he's not going to get the double teams and triple teams that he would get. He's going to have a lot more free lanes at the quarterback, and it's going to be a scary season for a lot of QBs playing the Los Angeles Rams.
I'm going to keep it tight because we're getting closer to that time. Deck, I'm not going to let you miss kickoff, right, baby? So that's what I'm trying for. So, honestly, Mike White almost made this list, baby. I was about to put him at 5. 405.
Hey, he's got a better chance of being on the list than Manny's Derek Carr. I mean, I don't know why. He's pulling bias saying Derek Carr on the list.
Wow.
I mean,
that's rude.
Maybe go see Newsmax and Derek Carr will be in their top 5 if they do a list.
Derek Carr has played well this season.
Yes.
He's not worthy
he
of
has
top
played
5.
well.
He's played well. He's not worthy of top 5. Top 10, I'll give you.
Top
10's honestly top 10's borderline too. But
you got him at 11. He's on the bubble.
I would say top 12. It's razor thin.
If we had time, I would ask for that 10. Just put you on the spot, but we don't. Yeah,
I can give it to you.
No. Hey, you want to make the kickoff, right?
I do want to make.
Okay, all right.
Well,
then
let's 5 easy names. That's just all it is.
Oh, we're gonna have a good one. We might need to have Manny on next week. Is Raiders, Giants.
Let me give you mine real quick so we can move on.
Yeah,
it's gonna be Joe Burrow at 5. I'm putting him on my list. I just think the kid has been great. He starts a little bit slow, first 2 quarters sometimes, but he has the numbers that he gives his team a chance to win. I think he threw for over 259 on Sunday yesterday with 3 TDs.
He didn't look good Sunday. I'm sorry.
No, he didn't. But what I'm saying is it's a better defense. The Jets secondary is not a bad secondary. And
we've been saying that all year.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm just saying, if you're struggling, like look at how Herbert struggled, and look at how Burrow struggled. I'm just saying, I'm putting him on the list. I think that he was on my bubble, and I added him. Kyler Murray is someone that did fall off. He's not going to be on this list. I'm sorry. He has an ankle injury, by the way. He's day to day right now. Yeah.
I feel like have we seen him? I feel like I've seen him down at the end of a game before.
We have,
right?
Yeah.
Why? Like, why is this? I don't want to say this is like that he's faking it or anything, because obviously he's not, but. Why is this a recurring thing? Is that he's on the floor at the end of every game when
he's a small dude and he runs a lot.
Yeah, I guess so. That's
like Flintstones.
Yeah, like a little scat back. But I got Dak Prescott at 4, even though he didn't play. I just think the guy's amazing. he's going to stay on my list. All right. 3 is Josh Allen. He's moved up. He was at 4 last week. Joshy boy, your guy. I believe in him. The kid's good.
Yes.
Matthew Stafford's at 2. All right. He's great, but Greg, I cannot align with you at 1. It's just undeniable. 1 is Tom Brady. The guy
I didn't expect y'all to be with me.
I know. I just want to let you know. I'm breaking ranks.
But
It's
my
just-
list is biased. He's picking the kid. He might as well have been best friends with Matt Stafford. That's how much he
Oh,
loves him.
but
And no, you
I-
bring up a fair point. You bring up.
I
a fair
admitted
point.
that.
Yeah.
Exactly, but I'm getting because Derek Carr is not on my list.
So you're allowing Manny to get to rile
Yes.
you up. Manny's sole purpose in life is to rile people
I know,
up.
and he's officially talking out of his ass now once again because he goes
Yes.
over under Daniel Jones 4 picks, 4 fumbles. He doesn't even have 4 picks and 4 fumbles on. He has 4 picks on the year. He doesn't have 4 fumbles on the year. He has exactly 4. I forgot about the stupid Hail Mary one against the Saints.
Before we change football,
Yeah.
so there was something unprecedented that happened.
We're
in
not
Pick'em's
changing
last
football
night.
yet. We still got to
I'm
do
sorry.
Monday night.
Okay, before we
Yeah.
get to Monday night,
Yeah.
something unprecedented happened in the Pick'em's last night. And Deck, I didn't know you were the catalyst behind it, right?
Yes, I gave Carl a call. I said,
Yes.
hey, listen, Carl, what do you think about this? Dak's out, game time decision. I mean, if this was Thursday Night Football, obviously no one will be taking the Cowboys. Not even Pete O'Shea, who's talking Cowboys in all caps. I know for a fact he switched his pick as well. Shout out to Rick for putting us onto this valuable information. But yeah, look at this. But I was the poster boy behind this.
So-
And, yeah.
Yes. So if I thought it was Carl, right? I thought it was Carl. I didn't know it was a panelist. That if it was another panelist, I would not have switched my pick. If it came
Right.
from Boss Man, I would have been like, nah, I'm staying. I'm switching. But if it came from another panelist, I was like, nah, I'm staying pat. The only people that stayed with the Cowboys was Reynal and Ricardo Etienne. So shout out to
Big
y'all.
picks.
But all I'm saying is the Vikings should have won that game, and I'm salty and I'm hating.
I'm salty too. And listen, it was one of those things where I felt like it would be a close game regardless of if Dak played or not. So that's kind of where my thought process was. I didn't call up Carl and was like, yo, we got to be able to change our pick. What is he saying in the chat? What is it? Oh, he's saying Carl's trying to rig the
No. Chuck said, you called Carl like you're Triple H or something. Call Vince
like as
you're
if he's
Triple
Vince
H.
McMahon.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So I did. I'm not gonna. Carl didn't tell us to switch the picks. I gave him a phone call yesterday. I didn't put it in the chat because I didn't think it was something that would go over super well. And I was like, you know what? I'm not this bothered about it. Let me get an immediate answer. He picked up immediately. I said, hey, listen, what's the deal here? And then everyone voted except like 2 people voted on 2 people who had the Vikings, who I know for a fact would have chose the Cowboys had the shoe been on the other foot.
So
That's really the story. That's all.
No. It's great. It's great. You added the story. I'm just saying it's 808.
It is 808. 808. We got to make.
Let's get it. Let's talk about it, right? Monday Night Football, Giants, Chiefs. Your Giants at the Chiefs. And if we were talking about this week, like this matchup in week 1, we'd be laughing. It's like, oh yeah, the Chiefs are gonna beat the bricks off the Giants.
Yeah.
But
I laughed. I cried. And
Yeah,
then I saw
well-
the Bucks. I saw
well,
the
it's
Bucks
not-
2 weeks later, and I was like, this is ridiculous.
Well, I mean, also it's not week 1 anymore. We've seen this Chiefs team change, and I think with this Giants secondary, well, what if they manage to lock up Tyreek Hill? Will we see another mediocre game from Mahomes, who has not been the same? And Deck, I'll start with you because Greg, you look like you're doing a little something on the side. Deck, what do you make of this matchup? Who do you have, and do you think it actually could be closer than I think some people might expect?
Yeah, I think it'll be a decently close game. However, I think the Chiefs are going to pull out and win. This is a get-right game for Mahomes and that offense, and
Said
really
that
that
before.
defense. If that defense, we have said it, but you play the
It did not
Giants. This is.
I'm just saying, no, for Mahomes, we said there was a get-right game. He
For
just
Mahomes,
didn't
right.
get right then. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So
But continue.
I agree. Yeah. No, I agree. But they haven't played a team. Listen, Chiefs' run defense is horrible. They're tasked with stopping Devontae Booker and essentially a fullback and Elijah Penny, and Daniel Jones running as well. So
Yes.
he is literally a fullback. So I don't think that it's going to be a team. It's going to be a team, that a unit that the offense is going to have. That the offense the defense, excuse me, is going to be able to
Yes.
stop. I'm looking at Manny's comment. Doesn't even root for his Giants. Do you think I'm not rooting for the Giants because I picked the Chiefs? I'm just not biased. I don't pick the Raiders when I know they're going to get their asses beat.
Manny
on
wants us to
national
go
television.
over. Manny
Like-
wants us to go over. Don't take the bait.
I'm not. You're right. You're right. And he's going to choose them against the Raiders this week. Believe me, I'm making a pick on a bet on a team that is actually relevant.
Manny wants you to
As
miss
he- as
kickoff.
you continue
That's
to
what's
take the
happening.
bait.
Yeah.
He got me. But you know what? It's absurd. I'm gonna bury it every time. It is low hanging fruit, but I'm gonna bury it 6 foot deep in the sand.
Manny,
Every
you
time.
got it. He's gonna miss kickoff. You're welcome.
Yeah, I'm gonna miss kickoff now. Absurd. But give me the Chiefs. I think that the Giants will play well, and I think Jones will have less than 4 combined picks and 4 fumbles. So that'll excite me because if the team can move the ball down the field, that'd be nice. But if the Giants don't move the ball down the field on this Chiefs defense that is led by former foe Steve Spagnuolo, and they know how he blitz, they know how he calls the defense. So much film is on this guy. Jason Garrett, I didn't like you from the beginning. I never wanted him here. He's got to go. If they get under freaking 20 points, I want him gone. I'm so serious. It's ridiculous.
Greg, who you got?
So I picked the Chiefs in a pick 'em, but I do think the Giants are going to be able to give them a game, especially getting Shepard and Tony back. It gives that
You going
offense- I'm not going upset.
Okay,
It,
all right.
it gives
Unlike your pick'ems.
I know, unlike my picks, it gives the Giants offense another dynamic. And I think Kadarius Toney is going to prove everyone wrong as far as where the Giants picked him because he is that dynamic. He can be like Odell in his first 3 years with the Giants. He can be that guy and put up those type of numbers. He has that type of talent. Now, the Chiefs secondary, as we know, is in shambles. You know, we're used to seeing Sorensen's back while somebody's catching and running behind him. So I see only problem with that is the Giants tight ends stink. You know, Kyle Rudolph is a shell of himself.
Confirmed fact.
Evan Ingram is a bust.
Nah, he's not that guy, pal.
He's not that guy. Shout out to my next TikTok.
I can't wait. Are you gonna get into the TikTok game? Like
I am, but it's gonna be for our show though. It's gonna be takes from the show, so it's gonna be all of us. I'm gonna have a smoke and mirrors TikTok.
Ooh, I want you to follow the trends, bro.
we're gonna get memes.
But I do think they can make it competitive just because the Chiefs. It could be a get right game for the Chiefs, but they have so many issues on offense and defense. And I just don't know if Andy Reid is going to change his game plan, which is something he needs to do.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think we've seen that enough. Like the defenses in the league have adjusted to the Chiefs well enough at this point, and Andy has not adjusted after that adjustment. I'm going to give me the Chiefs here still. I think for everything you said, Greg, about the Giants, I think that's why it's going to be close. That's why we're talking about this game as if like, oh, maybe the Giants, like upset could happen. No, turnover-free football from DJ and Kadarius Toney being featured the way he needs to be featured. I'm actually very excited to see him. That is the one reason I want to watch this game, honestly.
Outside of our fantasy implications, I want to watch this.
Outside of the fantasy implications, I do want to see.
They're tied together for me.
No, I'm just saying, like outside of it, I just want to see. I think it's exciting, but also I also am looking forward to Mahomes getting back on track because when he's lighting up the league, it's a better league.
Because he's the face. He's the face.
Well, not anymore.
So for those of you, Steph, are you closing or no? I'm sorry, I didn't want to jump the gun.
I need to just get this World Series stuff in. We cannot
all right,
talk
cool.
about it.
All right, got you. Go.
Yeah. Are you about to say something? Is it?
I was going to talk about Sunday.
Yeah, no, not yet.
Yeah,
we're not close.
Got you.
Real quick. All right, so, Deck and I were right about Game 3. All right, they took the Braves, did exactly what we wanted to. Great game. Travis d'Arnaud hit a home run, which anytime that guy does well, I don't care where I am in the world, I curse out loud. I am just immediately pissed.
He's playing really well, and it's so bothersome.
Bro, I said, does anyone remember in the chat?
It's so annoying.
Manny and Eddie were talking about World Series MVPs. And they threw in Rosario's name and they threw in Freddie Freeman's name and they didn't throw in Austin Riley's name. And I said, hey, listen, finals MVP.
That happened?
Yes. I said, listen,
I missed that.
World Series MVPs are so insane. Travis d'Arnaud could go out and win this thing.
Yeah.
And he's actually playing good. And I said that. And
he can't throw anyone out to save his life. But
yeah. Well, he's going to win it with his bat. And I mean, who would have thought after Game 3 they go up 2-1? Travis d'Arnaud's getting the on-field interview after the game. I mean, That's got to be a prop bet.
So we have Braves taking game 3. Game 4, another exciting game. We have a rookie having his debut in the World Series.
That was so unprecedented.
Which it was so unprecedented, but how do you think that would go? A third of an inning, have the bases loaded and get pulled. And at that point, it's like, wow, shaky. They only scored 1 run in that inning. Props to the Braves for holding that down, because that could have got ugly fast. But you see, Austin Riley, his name just keeps coming up in this series and just in the playoffs. I'm honestly still looking at him for MVP. I just think he's been that dynamic and that impactful. Austin Riley gets it started, puts him on the board, and then you have a Dansby Swanson home run in the 7th, and it's tied. And all of a sudden, you're home. If you're a Braves fan, you're at home. This is it. Oh, we lost Deck. Deck went to watch the game. Deck didn't want to say bye.
He dipped on us. He's like, nah, we're not making it. I'm going. I'm
minute
going.
over. It's over.
About to go get his.
But that game 4, Soler with that go-ahead home run in the 7th inning, huge. We talked about it a lot. We keep talking about it. I want to keep mentioning it. The acquisitions at the deadline have made a difference in this World Series, this team that's in the World Series. It is
for all you fans, for all you fans out there, that's how you want your GM to act. With urgency. Okay.
Yeah.
The team had needs and they went out and revamped everything they need to revamp. That's how you want a GM to act.
And I'm not gonna lie, right? Last night I was out. I was at my event, but I received news that the Braves were up 4 runs in the first inning. I'm like, it's game over, baby. Like they're about to be popping champagne.
Not I.
I was in my head. I'm like, man, the momentum is wild right now. Like, there's no way that they're about to lose this game. And slowly but surely, did the Astros chip, because that's what they can do. And that game finished 9-5.
I just want to say shout out to Dusty Baker for not going to the computers to make his lineup and using baseball acumen to formulate his lineup and moving Gurriel, who is probably their most complete hitter, honestly, in terms of average and power and things like that this season, and moving him up in the lineup, getting him more ABs, getting him to see more fastballs, and really curating the lineup to where there was no weak spots, and that you even had Maldonado putting good swings on the ball.
I mean, the analytics guys would also call for that, though. I just want to say that. That's why they have their best hitter in the 2-hole to get the number AB. So I still want to shout out.
No, he wasn't in the 2-hole. He was in the 5-hole.
No. I know that. I'm just saying that they usually tell you that you want your best hitter getting the most AB. That move to me isn't just like old school.
Going into yesterday's game, the quartet, I guess, of
of
Correa, Altuve. They're hitting and Bregman. They were hitting a combined 169 in the series so far. So it's something where they had to switch something up, and I like that old school manager, that Buck Showalter, needs to be in the league still. Proving that right away. Dusty Baker was really the perfect manager for that team and got them going last night.
And any other manager,
do or die. Any other manager down 4-0, and that team. I mean, Dusty has managed them. Dusty managed them well enough to come back in that game yesterday. Part of it. I mean, that might have saved Greg from, sobbing in his Altuve jersey on his couch last
night. So the one thing I will also say in terms of this series, I did hedge and say that it's very possible the Braves will split in Atlanta. And that's exactly what happened. But I do think the series is over because they gave the Astros hope going back to Houston. And I think the Astros are going to win it in 7. And here's why: the Braves pitching to start, and Chuck said he's sick of it. Starting the openers, taking them out. The Braves don't have the openers that a Tampa Bay Rays have. These are inexperienced openers on the biggest stage of their careers, and you can tell they have the jitters.
Making MLB pro starts, in the World Series.
Debuts in the World Series. Yeah, and the back end of the Braves bullpen is fire, but if they can't get to the back end with the lead, they're in trouble.
Deck, you're sticking with yours, right? This is time you don't want to wiggle around, right?
Steph, I mean, are you kidding me?
Hey, I just wanted to ask. I had to ask.
First of all, I would never leave you like that.
I enjoy. Thank you.
2, I don't even have to say that I'm sticking with my prediction. And what I will say, though, is, Greg, I'm going to get a Freddie Freeman jersey, a red one, if they win, just to spite you.
All right, it. So before we wrap up, we have Tuesday. So tomorrow night, 8:09, as it's been going. They have Max Fried on the mound for The Braves, we don't know who's going to be on the mound for the Astros yet. Greg, you're saying that the Astros are taking this whole thing, so you got Astros for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think they ended?
Do
Do you think the Braves ended that? Because we have them in 7.
I think it goes 7 because I think that
Okay.
Greg is right. I think that Greg is right, is that the team does have fight to make this a 7-game series and give them a sliver of hope. I don't see them going into Houston and the Astros just not winning a game and completely folding. As much as we make jokes about the Astros, this team is not built to fold like that from top to bottom. Analytics aside, just the grit that team plays with. I mean, it's a shame that they're going to get split up after this year, that core at least. But now that they just passed the amount of games that Jeter and McNeil and O'Neal and that core all played, but I think that they wound up winning tonight, and then the Braves can celebrate on their field. Like I said from the beginning, very similar to how the Nationals did in Game 7 after that similar team beat them in 2019.
I just want to say Eddie wants the Braves to win so badly. It's almost hilarious at this point.
Yeah, I'm a little worried for him. A little like it's peak level alarming in a way, I would say.
Eddie's become a full-on Braves fan. I don't even know who this guy is.
Chuck brings up a really good point, though. The best news for Atlanta is they have Fried and Anderson for Game 6 and 7.
Yes,
like that. I would go as far as to call it an advantage.
Fried, I guess Fried has like a 10.80 ERA in this.
Ian Anderson going in Game 7 is what they need. Ian
Anderson is what they need for sure. I also think going in Game 6 is better for them because Ian Anderson does need.
I agree, and it's one of those things where if they lose, obviously they have Game 7. You don't want it to make it a 7-game series, but Ian Anderson is that last line of defense.
Yes. I think that's the best setup.
If Fried bounces back, that's great. But I don't want to say he can afford a bad start. But if the bad start happens, you're not completely disheveled in your hopes.
You want a Game 6 because we have.
Here's what I will say about the back end of the Braves pen. As good as they have been, they're not Marianos. They're not rolling out 3 Marianos out there. These guys. Everybody has that one game where they slip up, but they cannot afford to have that happen in Houston. And I think if it does happen to any one of those 3 relievers, Matzek, Jackson, or what's the closer? Will Smith. Mm-hmm. Any one of those 3 guys, if they get hit hard and they lose a game because of it, I think that it could snowball into the next game.
So I'm just gonna you guys are both calling for the Astros tonight. Tomorrow night. I'm going Braves. I just
Eddie hat on.
It's not my Eddie hat, more so that
it is.
No. It's not like, they're definitely gonna win. It's more like y'all are both saying Astros. I'm gonna say Braves because I want to talk about it on Monday. I'm sorry, Friday. I want to talk about it on Friday. It's like, hey, right. I went Braves Game 6 and they won.
Listen, dude, you're on the perfect island with Marty looking like a palm tree in the background. So you're
Shout out to Marty.
Marty Island's right there.
Marty Island, he holds it down. That's for sure. Hey, Greg, you wanted to say something before because I'm about to wrap up now. What do you got? Sunday?
Yeah, Sunday. For those of you that don't know, Boss Man carries a Sunday show, and they have different NFL contributors calling. But this Sunday, let the shenanigans come home because Smoke and Mirrors will be hosting the NFL Sunday show.
What? I didn't look at my email. That's what happened. Okay.
Every joke has an ounce.
Let me check. Let me make sure my schedule is clear. On Sunday.
I thought it was this weekend. I was like, are you out of your mind? I mean,
yeah. So we will be reaching out to see what contributors to have on. I already have an idea of some of the shenanigans that can take place and some of the conversations we can have. It's going to be a fun one.
All right.
Finally, Travis is here to formally defend himself.
Yes, I was going to say, are we calling all the shots? Is Travis definitely going to be on?
Really? We are calling all the shots. We are running it how we want.
Trav, I don't know, bro. You better send Greg like a gift basket or something. Like, what is it? The Whitman special? What is it called?
The Whitman sampler. Don't disrespect the Whitman sampler like that. I mean, it's good stuff. It's good chocolate.
Hey, I don't think it isn't.
Rick, your key still works, bro. Your key still works, Rick.
Listen, I'll say this about my boy Rick. Notice how I called him my boy. We squashed any beef that went down.
Hey, there it is.
It's all over. Listen, Rick's a great guy. He knows that. I rooted for his Dolphins when they're not playing for the Bills. I liked the hit list is better when Rick is happy. And Rick
Elder Statesman.
Elder Statesman.
Elder Statesman. You can't go against him. So Rick and I have buried it, and I hope he comes on Sunday. I would love to have Rick on Sunday. He's a must bring him on.
Travis is TBD.
Travis is TBD. Of course he is. But I also want to say on Wednesday, we're going to have part 2 of me and Mike Miller. Yeah. Going back at it about why NBA fans are the worst and why they rate the NBA playoffs so much higher than the career of players.
Damn.
That's what I would call crushing NBA players, like fans.
That's what I would call a thesis debate right there.
Yeah.
Like Greg wrote this paper 10 years ago. And now it's really come to life. Mahomes just threw a pick in the end zone. Can we get the hell off this? Are you kidding me? He's got more picks than Zach Wilson, and I'm sitting here talking to you people who I love, but I was gonna say buffoons. I'm not gonna say it, but I'm getting upset.
You kind of did this though with the Manny stuff. We're wrapping up.
This is my fault. This is my fault.
I mean, it's not, but some of the blame does fall at your feet.
Yes.
Okay, let me do it. Let me hit it. All right. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe to all Hitless content on YouTube, Facebook, and IG. The handle is
Fan Zone tomorrow.
Again, that's Sports XL. Yes, there's Fan Zone tomorrow. I was getting to that. All right. Coming up is Fan Zone, 5 p.m. Manny, if there's a special guest, please let us know in the chat. I will mention it. We will mention it. And then you have Greg, as he said on Wednesday. All right. Going back at it with Mike Miller. So y'all check that out. And again, we got us on Friday. You can look forward to it. And again on Sunday. You're getting so much smoke and mirrors this week. You're gonna love it.
Damn. So Manny said Fan Zone don't exist anymore. Mike Phillips, you see the disrespect?
What? What are you talking about? I said it. We said it. Deck said it, and then I said it.
Yeah. Manny. No, this was after I saw Manny's comment.
Oh,
okay. I'm like, we wrapping up now, bro. I got you. But yeah, check that all out. Deck, you can head out now. I know you came back. You probably
no. It's okay. It's okay. I can be nice and patient to watch. Listen, Manny trying to get me canceled. Buffoons was a late call. I was feeling too happy after a Mahomes pick to say something mean, and Buffoons just felt too harsh in a celebration. Like I said, it was a game time decision.
Well, we are gonna head out. Thank you all y'all for tuning in to Smoke and Mirrors. I'm your host, Stephen Polius, alongside Declan Krobman and Greg Polius. Have a great week. We'll see you on Friday.